Have you ever been on YouTube at like 3 in the morning and then you end up falling down a huge YouTube conspiracy theory rabbit hole and all of a sudden 3 more hours have passed and now you're just kind of scared of everything? I don't do it often, but I feel like that's a thing a lot of people end up doing. Well, I thought it'd be a pretty good idea to start maybe a little series about some TF2 conspiracy theories that the community has. It might be kind of interesting. If you go on to enjoy it, let me know. And if you don't, then I won't do any more. Also, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. Okay, so the main conspiracy theory that I saw before I even decided I wanted to do a video like this was that some people were saying that Valve themselves were creating the cheating, racist, comment spamming bots that were infesting the TF2 servers in order to give themselves an easier way to close down the game. So I think today we're going to start with that one and we'll see how it goes. I remember seeing some really weird comment on my YouTube video once, and it was paragraphs and paragraphs long about this kind of theory, and I kind of thought it was a whole load of rubbish, to be honest, at the time, and I'd still kind of think that. I don't really know why people would think a company like Valve would do that kind of thing to their own video game that they've invested so much time and money into over the years it's been out. And the fact that TF2, even though it is one of their smaller games in relation to Dota 2 and CSGO, is still raking in a lot of money for Valve. So why would they want to ruin that? But then I got to thinking more from just a casual player's perspective about this whole thing. Maybe somebody who only plays TF2 a little bit, maybe follows some YouTubers, sometimes goes on Twitter, that kind of thing. And it just started to make a little bit more sense. Looking back on the updates Valve made to the bots, it was clear from the start that a lot of what they were working on beforehand was censoring them, making them not able to talk and spread the hateful comments they had been programmed to spam that was making Valve look bad for allowing in their games. Whenever they found a new way around that communication barrier Valve put in place, Valve would then make another change to stop them talking even more, still not making any changes to the fact that they could actually still cheat. And this whole thing led to Valve eventually just completely blocking text and voice chat for free-to-play players, a change that still hasn't been reverted to this day, nearly a year later. I think the whole community thought, and some people still do think, that they are working on fixing the cheaters. They said that they would be working on finding a way to not allow people to use these accounts the way they are being used in one of the earlier updates against the bots, but it's been nearly a year since this whole thing has started, and there's still no updates about the bots and stopping them from actually cheating. And the bots are still going around servers like they were before, and still disrupting everybody's games, and there's not been really anything from Valve since they stopped the text from working. It's almost like Valve have either stopped working on fixing the bots, or they never actually were working on fixing the bots. So seeing all of that kind of stuff, I do understand how people can believe that this is something that Valve could have done in order to make enough people quit TF2 so they can deem the game unviable to continue running and shut it down for good. And then they wouldn't have to worry about this little hack game that they made so long ago. Like, why else wouldn't they have fixed the bots by now? It's been a year, and it's not like Valve is short of employees or even money to hire somebody new to sort the problems out if somebody they already have hired can't fix it. It's not an impossible problem to fix. I feel like a lot of people leave, even on like TF2 forums and stuff like that, as saying like this is probably how you could do it. So it does get a little bit weird as to why Valve haven't done it yet, but you never know what's going on there. I know Valve is a company that does things a little bit differently to how you would expect, but I think even they would realize that if they wanted to close down TF2, they would just close it down. Why not end the game on a high of what it was instead of running the game into the ground and souring everybody's memories that they have associated with it? Like, if you were trying to close TF2 down, it's probably better for it to be remembered as a legendary game rather than a bot-infested mess that got closed down because Valve didn't want to do anything with it. I think Valve is smart enough to realize that kind of thing. At least, I don't know, maybe it is something Valve would do. They are weird. They do make some odd choices sometimes, but I don't personally think that the bots were an inside job. I do think it has gotten to this point because of Valve, though, and the fact that they are so unwilling to do any kind of work towards actually stopping it so far. But again, you never know with Valve. They do everything super secretly. I would assume they have NDAs on literally everything they're working on because they don't want somebody just leaking stuff that they're working on so other people can get it. So there is a tiny chance that something is being worked on, but nobody is allowed to really talk about it yet because there's an NDA, which makes sense because a lot of that happens for pretty much every game that you play. You don't know about the updates until it's quite close to being done, where they actually want to share something with you. We weren't really told about Jungle Inferno until like a week before it came out. It just seems to be how Valve likes to do things. I like to believe that this problem is a lot bigger than we think, and maybe Valve are doing more than just targeting TF2 cheaters here. But again, that might be wishful thinking along with everything I've said already, and I'm only really trying to be this positive for my own sanity at this point. So it might not be what you all think, but I'll believe it for a little while longer. Weirdly, I'd rather have like belief that Valve will do something good and be disappointed than not have any hope and then be right, if that makes sense. I don't think this is like a huge conspiracy theory that the community has, but I saw multiple people talking about it. Not like a huge amount of people, but enough talking about it that it was a little bit weird. So I thought I would bring it up in a video and share my thoughts with it. I do think these bots were still made by people who were just living in their basements, had nothing to do over lockdown, and thought, you know what, it sounds pretty easy to mess with TF2, I'm going to mess with TF2. I don't think Valve made the bots, and if they did and that ever came out, that would be a really, really bad look for the company because of all of the things the bots were saying at the start and all of the things that they continue to say while they're in the games and while they're leaving in their custom messages and stuff like that. Like, it wouldn't end well for Valve there. But anyway, that is going to do it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you leave this video a like and also subscribe to the channel down below. There's also a bunch of links in the description for stuff that you could check out if you wanted to, like my Patreon. I have stickers. I also stream on Twitch every day. So, you know, if you want to check that stuff out, I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, anyway, once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.